Hello, all you beautiful souls. Happy spring and happy full moon. This full moon is in Libra, and there's a lot of connection with love and balance and relationship and justice. So before we hop into this reading and channel what this lunar energy, this lunar cycle will contain as far as energetic themes for the collective and for the individual, I'm just going to pray over the space that these be transmissions of truth, of the highest light, and for them to be helpful to each individual at the level that they're at, and to create a collective awareness so that we may utilize the energies to our best ability and to put us in touch with our inner authority, with God that lives within all of us, with the divine that flows through each one of us. And so may this reading and this transmission be of the living light. And so it is. All right, I have a new set of cards here. I'm really excited about these cards. This is, what exactly is this called? It's Work Your Light Oracle cards. And if you haven't already, please hit like if you like these videos, and subscribe if you want to help to expand the expand your, what am I trying to say? If you want to be notified when these videos come out and expand your communication with me, then that would be one of the best ways to do it. So I think you got this. I didn't have it up on my screen, so I couldn't tell. How does it feel? How does it feel to be emerged from spring? I know for me that there's about maybe it in its fullness is probably 4 weeks, 2 weeks before the equinox, 2 weeks after, or the solstice, whenever the season is changing, that I really can feel that in my body. You know, I'm wanting different foods, or I don't know what I want at all. For me, that's an indication that I just need to fast. And there's like an internal reorganizing, restructuring, you know. In spring, this is why we get that spring cleaning fever. It's a full moon, so it's a really, really good time to maybe let some things go, some things that you've been carrying for a while. I think for me, I'm speaking just from my own personal experience as I recently rehomed my very sacred crystal bowl set, my quartz crystal bowl set that was attuned with the chakras, that has been with me for about 7 years, and it was a really big moment to release those. So what are you releasing in your life right now? Are there any major assets that you are transitioning, that you are giving up? What's going on in your relationship world, your relationship with yourself, and being in love? You know, being in love, we think so much about being in love with something else other than just the state of being that is known as love. So what is your relationship with the state of being in love? That I feel is a theme for this Libra full moon. And our first card, I'm not sure if I've ever seen this one. This is called Kuntur Yachak. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Blessing from the son of Hanan Pacha. So the upper worlds. Condor swiftly brings the will of spirit to earth through the gift of powerful medicine. Despite great odds, even in the face of what may appear to be an inevitable defeat, extraordinary triumph is at hand. This is the prophecy of resurrection, of the rising of what was thought to be lost. It shall happen with unexpected and surprising swiftness. Your divine destiny is now held in the guiding hand of a great spiritual master. How aligned is that as we move into the resurrection energy of spring this weekend? The honoring of the rebirth of our innocence as we look at the story of Yeshua. We look at the story of Jesus and the clearing of the karmic debt. There's much more to explore here in this. So this is a collective energy card, and we're going to come back to it for more definition around our individual journey. So that just tells me we are about to see some pretty major shifts, which we have. The next lunar cycle is going to be the eclipse, which is always unexpected and big shakeups. So I think that we're going to start to see some of that within the next 2 weeks is what it's feeling like. And as I gaze at this oracle card, she has a moon right at her third eye. And it feels like an indication to keep our gaze focused, to not be distracted by maybe some of the stuff that we're seeing in the external world, in the media, to acknowledge it, to witness it, observe it, maybe even analyze it, but not letting it pull you out of your center. Being able to balance, almost split the consciousness by acknowledging something that's going on, but willing to remain here and not be swayed or triggered by whatever distractions are around. The Goddess card comes in. Express your divine feminine energy, embracing its magical intuition and nurturing qualities. And the law of attraction. So okay. So in all the unfoldings that are upon us and in our very near future at a collective level, well, the only thing that we can really do is be aware at the individual level and to make those adjustments. But right now, it may be a better time to simplify and to not plan anything big and extravagant over the next probably month. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying use your intuition and don't get caught up in your creative process to the point that you're not listening to intuitive guidance that is maybe giving you some direction on timing. A lot of the time it's not that our idea is wrong or that it's off base. It's that the timeline that we are assuming for it is not the highest timeline. It's not the highest compatibility for the idea. And so I invite you into whatever you have planned for, the rest of April and May, or any big decisions that are trying to come to life right now. to see where you can simplify and create enough space to be in your feminine presence so that you can hear your intuition. If something doesn't feel quite right about this thing, don't just ignore it and bulldoze forward. Be with that. Like, make a sacred space to investigate where is there friction? How would it feel if I tweaked it like this? How would it feel if I shifted the date on this? Does that feel better? Does that feel like there's more energy behind it? And the other card is the Law of Attraction card. Okay, so we have to feel it first. We have to tune in. Okay, is this of God or is it of ego? Is it of source or is it of ego? And if you've listened to my channel or listened to me, I always use God and divine interchangeably. What it says under the Law of Attraction card is relationships and activities that you once enjoyed are now changing as you become more sensitive and aware of energies. I'm watching this with everyone, including myself. It's just a part of the evolution of the time. We're just rapidly accelerating through evolutionary points. And have you looked around and noticed that maybe your friend group, like, you're not feeling as satisfied? It's not like a mutually beneficial exchange. There's conflict there. You don't feel good when you're with them, or you feel drained afterwards. What about your job? Like, is it a relationship with your vocation, with your career? Is it your relationship with money? You know, these are all very high points. And so I'm just going to name a few. Your relationship with your inner child. You know, what's being shown to you? If you're asking for clarity, if you're asking for wisdom, if you're having trouble somewhere, your trouble is your advice. You know, if something's not aligning, then it's probably not a part of your highest timeline. It's probably something that you're meant to maybe let go of, or you need to really take some inventory in yourself of what the trigger is, which actually that's always what you initially need to start with is this triggering me and making me uncomfortable around the situation or the person or myself? In that case, then there's work to be done. There's self-discovery and self-love that needs to happen. And then you can see if that balances out the relationship. Is there, maybe that resolves the friction, right? Because we're living in a mirrored world. Or is it that you're not triggered in the presence of these situations, that it's actually just showing you what you no longer want, what you've evolved out of? And that, like, I can feel that in the field when I bring that in. It's like, oh yeah, I used to be there. Or, you know what, that's like exactly what I don't want in my life. That's exactly how I don't want to feel. So it even comes into this initial card where she's really, her third eye is open. She's in her feminine wisdom. And she's not distracted by what's happening around. And this is also the medicine of the condor that it spoke of. It's the medicine of the eagle. It's able to rise above the obstacle so you can see the whole picture. And you're able to stay aware of what's present and acknowledge what's happening around, but without being distracted. So if you're able to focus your energy, like you acknowledge, oh shit, that's not what I want. Sorry guys, that felt natural. That's not what I want. I don't want to have friends that behave that way. You know, I don't want to have that kind of exchange with my family. I don't want to have these worries about, you know, my finances or all of the different relationships. It hits every place, and all coming back inwards to, okay, like, it must live in me, this story must live in me, this vibration must live in me if I'm attracting it. So now that I've identified what I don't want, how do I polarize to what I do want? What do you want? Have you spent time like thinking about what you want? In our masculine supported reality and encouraged reality, we don't stop to dream as much. We don't stop to wonder and to fantasize. Like that's not deemed as valuable or important by society's standards, when in reality there is no creation of human that was not dreamed into reality. People like Tesla, like Einstein, they entered very deep meditative states. They contemplated, and it requires us to do the same thing. This is such a big energetic portal that we are in, and we are going to move through with this eclipse. It seems, and maybe there are stories for you to look at around the importance of making time to dream and consider and visualize and to work out those law of attraction tools so that you have a destination to go to. If you know what you don't want, it makes it a lot easier to narrow down what you do want. So use all of that contrast to conjure up in your mind and in your feeling centers that reality. Give yourself 3 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. Like, do a dreaming board. If it's harder to be in your mind and easier to see it, do a dreaming board. Get pictures from magazines or online, and do an artistic project with it, or paint a picture, draw something. Listen to music as you're doing that. That's really good for amplifying and directing your energy. So if you're having trouble energetically tapping into that, emotionally tapping into that, well, if I want to set myself along the timeline of taking a trip to Jamaica this summer, okay, I'm going to visualize it in my mind. I'm in every detail. Every detail is really important in projecting yourself there, so that you're no longer just dreaming it. You become part of it. You've already installed it into the morphic field. But if I need help with that, and it's like I can't hold the vision, I can't feel the heart connection, or like the feelings that it would feel, the freedom to be there, well, I'm going to put on some Bob Marley. And then, that, it's going to enhance whatever direction you're trying to send your energy in. So use sound. Use sound as a harmonizer, an enhancer, and use it to project yourself onto the highest timeline for you. What do you want to create in your life? What do you want to create? Feel free to drop it in the comments. What's your heart's deepest longings? Or what's just something simple that you want to see manifest in your life? And particularly, like, I'm getting over the summer. Okay, summer is about harvest. So right now we are planting seeds. We physically do that, right? You plant in the spring, you harvest in the summer. So when it comes to the fullness of the summer of your life, what does that look like? Invite in freedom, and don't go small. Like, you want to be realistic in nature, okay? Like, most people are not going to go from, I don't even want to limit like that. But you want to keep some realism there, but you want to go for the big stuff, okay? Like, Maybe I'm creating some kind of timeline where someone who has a whole lot of land in the perfect place that has the same dream that I do invites me and my family to come and live there and to work there. And so that would be a really big way of jumping from seeing myself having to have the money to buy that. There's ways that the universe can work around and move mountains, right? It's in scripture. You can move mountains when you have the power of the divine behind you. But in order for you to have the power of the divine behind you and the law of attraction, this is another thing very important in working manifestation, is that it needs to include the whole. This shouldn't be something that only benefits yourself. This should be something that you include the whole, that it is mutually beneficial for everyone involved. And when you do that, then you have the backing of spirit behind you. What or who is triggering you? So this is what's in the way for us right now. This is what's in the way of our joy. This is what is in the way of our happiness and our fulfillment in that timeline that we so desperately want to be on right now. We so desperately want things to be different, which is just creating more of the same. Resistance ends up creating more resistance, more pain and suffering. So who or what is triggering you? Work your triggers. Work your triggers. Work your triggers. If it triggers you, it's not about them. It's not about them. So what is it in you that they are highlighting, that you despise or disdain or deny or rebuke? There is some shadow aspect that is being alchemized by the light of spring. And again, there's this guidance right now to simplify your life, to really give yourself time to be in your feminine nature so that you can be attuned to your intuition. Because the more that we approach the eclipse points, the more chaotic things are going to be. It expands everything, including the chaos. It expands the subconscious mind, which is chaos and unknown and unsettled. So right now, the invitation is to ground yourself in, to create the intentional space to be with your goddess, to be with your inner child, to be a witness to your triggers. Let's hear a little bit more on the Kuntur Yach, the blessing of the sun upon Anpacha. Condors are born with their eyes open but do not have vocal cords to speak. You have always seen clearly. Trust in this, even if you struggle to find the words to express all that you see. Condors reveal emotion through changes in their skin color. This is a reminder to trust what your body is telling you. Your bodily intuition is a form of wisdom. You have a spiritual connection to the cosmic Christ consciousness, the universal sacred heart seeking to awaken itself in humanity. Your divine life purpose involves assuming the role of a leader, guide, healer, and earth warrior for love on this planet in your own unique way. Okay, did that trigger something? Just checking in. It says, Protection surrounds you. I'm just scanning for anything else that seems... This is the love that stirs our hearts and gives meaning to our lives. It is the same love that provides intelligence for the sun to shine and for the condor to survive. It is the love that emanates through the pure hearts of enlightened spiritual beings such as the Buddha and Yeshua. The Oracle of Kuntun Yohak brings a message of universal divine love from the living heart of spirit. It is an offer of absolute protection that is strong enough to sustain your purity, integrity, and effectiveness as you navigate the challenges inherent in the earthly world. So this is about working with those triggers. Like you have some protection with you, and you may be scared. You may be scared to let those be seen. You may be scared to go through whatever the healing process is, which is going to involve letting go in some way, letting go of your attachment to a person, to a regimen, to a way that you did things, to your identity, the way that you saw yourself. It is much needed protection over the unconscious world. Okay, you hear that? That is working with that eclipse portal. So I'm going to read that last part again. It is an offer of absolute protection that is strong enough to sustain your purity, integrity, and effectiveness as you navigate the challenges inherent in the earthly world. And that is much needed over the unconscious world. I cannot stress enough how important it is right now to be in check with yourself, to be slow and mindful with yourself. Much better to do it now than to be caught in the storm and just tossed around. This safeguard ensures that your passionate purpose is not distorted or derailed by unconscious forces. As you accept this blessing, you shall know only protection, empowerment, and grace as you manifest the spirit medicine of Condor, helping to bring hope, conscious and creative collaboration, dynamic sacred activism, and miraculous restoration to the earth through her evolving human family. I'm going to read the mirror to you. Feels very clear. The messaging is very clear. The signs of preparation, of integrity, intention. So the mirror, the filter of our own experience, is how we experience life 90% of the time, through our own projections. And when someone reminds us of an unhealed experience, we get triggered. Often it's an unconscious thing. People and situations can trigger our mirrors to reflect back to us what we believe to be true about life, the universe, and ourselves. Mirrors pointing to our shadow and our light. Mirrors revealing the parts of us that are yet to be accepted, witnessed, or loved. This card is guiding you to look closely at what experiences or people are currently triggering in you and what they could be mirroring back to you. When have you felt like this before? Could they be opportunities to heal something in you? Or are they shining a light on something that longs to be witnessed in you? And this goes for the positive and the negative. The positive, those who we admire and put on a pedestal. If we do not realize that we are attracted to them because we are like them, we will need to cut them down in order to rise to their level. The negative, or those we despise, are envious of, and put down. If we do not realize that they triggered something in us, then it is still yet to be healed, and we will remain hurt and wounded ourselves. So, who or what is triggering you? I encourage you to write this stuff down. What is it in you that they are triggering? What is the emotion? What is the idea? What's the story and the memory? And what part of you longs to be witnessed? Where do you not feel seen? Whoa, such a powerful transmission. Feels really good. Feels very helpful. Thank you, thank you. And thank you to you all who stayed and listened and received. May this bless you and ground you as we walk through this incredible time of transformation and transfiguration, remembering to hold the light of resurrection within us and to view each other through that same awareness that we are all in the process of change, and to bear witness to one another in loving kindness, grace, and compassion, and especially that in of ourselves. So thank you. I love you. Keep it pure and stay simple.